Bryan Pasquale. The phone lines are open at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. You can also watch live on the WBVP-WNBA Facebook page. Here is your host, Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. He is ready to take your calls at 724-774-1888 or 724-843-1888. Also, make sure you check us out at Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing, replacement windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all your exterior modeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. Well, Ryan, we have some things to talk about today.
I am so excited, Brian. This is one of my favorite times of year. This is like Christmas with, I'm assuming you're talking about NFL free agency, but I love this time almost more than any other time of the year.
Well, be careful. Don't shoot your eye out. All right, we are going to talk Steelers free agencies.
Oh, yes.
But first, I have a real quick question for you. This is super quick, so we'll get through this here. Do you know what happened on March 14th, 2023?
March 14th, 2023. Not off the top of my head, no.
I predicted on my other show that Cal Dubas would be the new GM of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay.
Now, you could probably guess this one. Do you remember what happened on February 7th here on One Man's Opinion?
Was it when Cal Dubas was hired?
No, February 7th, 2024.
Oh, 24. I'm not sure.
Okay. We were talking about the women of sports players and them attending games, and we brought up the name Sierra.
Okay, yes.
And on that show, who did I predict as your new starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Pirates? Steelers.
I don't recall, but I take your word 100%.
It was on the 53 minute of the show.
Okay. Now, you know what? Until that conversation, I wasn't even sure who that person was, but now I'm well aware.
Yes. So I did predict. So there's no need, anyone, to listen to anything else between 5 and 6 on Wednesday other than me because, Ryan, as we all know, I am never wrong.
I agree that...
Except for when I'm wrong.
Well, I agree with you on one thing, that people should not listen to anything else but your show on Wednesday between 5 and 6 o'clock every week.
All right, Ryan, give me your opinion because it's a little different than mine.
Okay.
Similar ways, but different.
Yes.
Give me your opinion on the Russell Wilson signing.
Okay, so I assumed I did speak to you a little bit throughout the week, and I know where you're going. So let me kind of jump ahead here. I personally like the Russell Wilson signing. I don't see anything wrong with the signing. I think for a few reasons that it's a good signing. I think that because he is a veteran, I do think that there's really not much of a fall off from when he was playing really good football to where we're at now. Statistically, his last 3 years in Seattle were actually really good. He had about 10,000 yards passing in those 3 seasons. And then he went to Denver, had some issues with a bad team, was able to win some pretty big games against some really good teams with that bad Denver team. So, my reasoning is few. I believe for that reason, I think he's definitely not past his prime like a lot of people were saying that he is. I think a veteran in there would not be bad in this lineup. It's been a while. It's been a few years since we've had a veteran, let alone a future Hall of Famer. I think that he's able to do things. You may possibly go the way of Mason Rudolph if this goes according to a conversation that you and I had, but I think that the advantage of having somebody like Russell Wilson and being a veteran would certainly be an advantage because if Russell Wilson steps up to the line, sees something he doesn't like, I think that he has such a vast idea and knowledge of the game to where he's able to manage the game a lot better than somebody like, say, Rudolph, for example. I do believe for many reasons that this was not a bad move. The amount of money that we were able to bring him in with, I think the $1.2 million, Denver pays the rest of his salary. I can't find many reasons why I think that this would be a particularly bad move. Was there things that we could have did that could have probably benefited us more or better? Yes. But as I said, I refuse to think that Russell Wilson is past his prime, and I think taking him and giving the tires a kick, it couldn't be a bad thing. And again, whatever their plans are with Kenny, I don't know what they're going to be from here on out. But I do know having somebody like Russell Wilson in that quarterback room, being able to work with him, teach him, and Kenny and even Mason, if he sticks around, I'm not sure what's going to go on there. I think could benefit greatly from having that veteran in the locker room.
All right. Now, my opinion on this here is, yes, it is not a bad move. I'm not upset with this move. I'm not anti this move.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. He's light years better than our plan going into the season with Kenny Pickett as a starter. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. That's not my point. It is a Neil Huntington or Ben Cherington like move, though, where you got somebody past their prime. Maybe you're going to hope to get revive like a pitcher's career. Although he did have a passer rating of about 98 last year and threw 26 touchdowns.
And one other thing, yes, let me add, one thing that he's always consistently did well from the time of being a rookie in 2012 till just last season, he does protect the ball very well. His touchdown to interception ratio is always very good, including up to last season where he was in the top 4 in that category as well.
Well, here's my question to you, okay? Yeah. And then we'll lead into the logistics of this afterwards. And take the money out of this situation. Let's just say we could have gotten, I'm drawing a blank, the Vikings.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. I don't know why. Okay, so the Falcons picked him up.
Would you have preferred him?
Every team would have preferred Kirk Cousins over Russell Wilson, I think.
Okay.
Now, the advantage is, what? Go ahead.
One guy is never. I think the thing at the end of the day is you ain't. If you got the ring, that's a big part. And at the end of the day, Kirk Cousins is very good statistically, but he hasn't yet led a team yet to the promised land. Yeah. And that is another one of my arguments. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. No. You're fine. I'm just saying I would have loved to have gotten Kirk Cousins instead of Russell. Okay. Now the $1.2 million does something tremendous.
Oh, absolutely.
It gives us all kinds of money to fill out a deep roster.
Yes.
So we need to take advantage of that. The first thing they did was an interdivision. They stole, in my opinion, Patrick Queen. I'm going to call him Lightning McQueen for probably the rest of the next few years. A 24-year-old in free agency, a number 1 draft pick, a guy that had, I think, 98 tackles one season and all the other seasons over 110 tackles. This guy, he's not the biggest guy, but he can cover. I think this is going to impact your Pittsburgh Steelers more than Russell Wilson will.
You know what? I tend to agree with you. You know what? I'm kind of mixed on it because it is a passing league. It is an offensive league. And sometimes it feels like the defensive things, they fall to the wayside. But I agree that this Patrick Queen signing is huge on so many levels. And I do believe if they were able to afford, they would have kept him for a long, long time. But as you stated, this is, his initial contract is up. This is that next move. He's moving on. I think after a few things that were said, I believe that he really felt deep down inside that he was meant to be a Steeler back in 2020 in a game at Heinz Field at the time. Mike Tomlin, he seen him and he said, you know what? He goes, Queen, you're not one of them. You're one of us. You're not a Raven. And something makes me feel in the back of his mind, since that time, he probably felt, you know what? One day I just might be a Steeler.
That's funny because I was just watched on Twitter or whatever. What's it called now?
X.
Okay, I'm never gonna call it X.
I know.
So anyway, Russell Wilson was taking some black Steeler jerseys with Wilson number 3 out of a box to the theme song by Wiz Khalifa, Black and Yellow. So maybe Lightning McQueen will be doing something similar here soon.
You know what? Listen, I got to tell you this, Brian. In our lives, we never seen this. We never got to live this. The Pittsburgh Steelers have always been old-fashioned. They've always built their team through the draft. And I think now with Omar Khan and company calling the shots, they realize that this league moves way too fast now in 2024. You have to build your team partially through the draft and partially through free agency. And we're getting, as fans, to reap the benefit of something that we never got to see. We were always told, we have faith in the team that we have. We're going to go with what we have. We're going to, what we have has always been what we heard. And the fact that they're spending money, and it's like Christmas every day I wake up since the free agency had started, bro.
Well, what Ryan Garazunas is referring to here, ladies and gentlemen, is the Steelers, instead of going out in free agency and signing guys, they would sign their own guys that they felt and wanted to keep, and that was their way of saying, well, we signed a free agent. He was just on our team before. There's only one player that I can remember, Ryan, that they went out and got that I thought was going to be an impact guy, and I'm not talking about James Ferrier. I'm talking about Deuce Staley.
Okay.
He's the last time I can remember them going and like getting somebody that was going to start.
Right. You know what? And I loved that too. I was a big Deuce Staley guy.
Deuce.
I can't express how much I love this Patrick Queen move. I can't express, and even, don't get me wrong. I acknowledge that Russell Wilson isn't, the best thing ever. But you know what? Us going out and getting these big names to improve our team, I think it's leaps and bounds compared to what we've seen our whole lives as Steeler fans. And I can't say that I'm not enjoying it.
I'm going to make a prediction, Ryan.
Yeah.
Here is your 2024/2025 Steelers prediction on defense.
All right.
Patrick Queen will be either the best defensive player on the team or the second best player on the team, and Fitzpatrick will be either first or second.
Okay, that's fair.
I think those two guys collectively are going to make a ton of tackles. We know Watt gets his sacks and his big plays, but I think on a play-by-play basis that Queen and Fitzpatrick are going to be making tons of tackles.
It's very exciting, Brad, to see, just to start to see what it is that this defense is going to look like, and having Patrick Queen in everything that you look at, and as you mentioned, Minkah Fitzpatrick, T.J. Watt,
Highsmith,
the whole way down the list. This defense is starting to look legit, and hopefully both sides of the ball can get better, and
and hopefully Keanu Benton can do much better in his second year as he gets a little more playing time.
Absolutely, man, absolutely.
So speaking of the defense,
yes. Can I make one more point? Because I was semi-prepared because I knew we were going to talk this.
Ryan, I'm already getting attacked by the cord.
What? I was prepared to talk about Russell here for a couple. And we have like 2 minutes, so let's let me.
Yeah, let's do that.
So and a lot of people are saying it, and it's not with many people. Don't get me wrong, but I will have the debate about Russell Wilson. People will come up and say, "Oh, should we have done this? We should have done that." I listen. We played Buffalo in the playoffs. We lost to Buffalo in the playoffs. And everyone says, well, you know what? Russell Wilson's not going to be able to get you to beat the Buffaloes in KC. When at the end of the day, he beat both of those teams last season, Brian. He beat Kansas City by 24-9. He beat Buffalo at 24-22. So, on a bad team in Denver, somebody like Russell Wilson certainly is not past the point in his career where he can't win against those kind of teams. I think that also goes a long way as well because, at the end of the day, you're going to have to beat those teams if you want to, get to where you want to be as a football team.
Russell Wilson reminds me of Hines Ward, where he has a chip on his shoulder. He was a third-round draft pick. He's only 5'11", but he's the shortest quarterback ever to win the Super Bowl. And I just think he has a chip on his shoulder. He's got a year or two left in him. So I think we're going to get the best out of him at this point in his career.
I think so too. And as I said, there really isn't that much of a decline. People want to point to the last 2 seasons. At the end of the day, if Ben would have walked away and went to play with, I don't know, anybody, you may have seen a decline. He comes here, feels the atmosphere, comes out of that tunnel, 30,000 people waving that towel. You know what? That might be enough to bring back the inner kid in Russell, and maybe that want to go out and get that Vince Lombardi trophy again before he retires.
Well, after we go to break here, Ryan, I am going to, on the other side, say who we need to bring in to get Russell Wilson another weapon.
I like that. I can't wait to hear.
All right.
One more thing.
Yeah.
One more point. And for our Steeler fans out there who do like Russell and are supporting him and are really enjoying this ride, no Hall of Fame quarterback has ever played in Pittsburgh and did not win a Super Bowl.
Fun facts.
Hey, just keep that in mind, guys.
All right, guys, you've been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We will be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
Are you ready to start your career journey? Turn your dream into a degree at Community College of Beaver County. With over 35 degrees and pathways in business, health science, STEM, aviation, and more, CCBC can help you navigate to your destination. Which will you choose? Enroll now for spring classes and start your journey. Learn more at ccbc.edu. Real learning for real life.
Hey, can you imagine trying to hit a fastball or throwing a runner out at home? It's hard to think of doing these things under perfect circumstances, let alone with the distraction and discomfort of dental issues. Regular dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip can improve your productivity, happiness, and focus, even if you're not in the big leagues. Dental problems affect more than just your teeth. Visit lipdentistry.com or Dr. C. Timothy Lip Family Dental Offices on College Hill and Robinson Township.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of low prices at AK Nahas. This President's Day, get a Whirlpool washer with removable agitator for $4.99 or a GE French door refrigerator for only $12.99. Save up to $400 on KitchenAid stainless steel dishwasher with a third rack, only $7.49. Or a GE stainless steel print resist dishwasher for $6.29. Plus free local delivery, setup, and removal. Save more this President's Day only at AK Nahas Appliance, Furniture, Mattress, and TV. You'll do okay with AK.
This is Andy Toole, men's basketball coach at Robert Morris University, here to talk about my friends at Falcone Moon Township Ford. I know what it takes to win a basketball game. It begins with practice and a team of players who want to win. The same is true of the team at Moon Township Ford. Professionals who will win you over. They'll find the best rate and terms on a car loan to help you get the best deal. Make a fast break and avoid the roadblocks that stop you from finding the car you want. Go where I go. Moon Township Ford.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports. I'm here at the same part of his studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. He's ready to take your calls at 724-774-1888 or 724-843-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing, replacement windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all your exterior modeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008, 412-678-7008, or get down to the Home and Garden Show today or by this weekend down there at the Convention Center down in Pittsburgh. All right, Ryan. That was a good first segment. I think the second segment is going to be even better.
All right, sounds good.
We talked about Russell Wilson in town, Patrick Queen in town, somebody that left town, a disgruntled Deontay Johnson.
Yes, sir.
All right, what do we think about him leaving first off?
I'm not surprised one bit, and I listen, there's certain things, anybody, put yourself in this position when you're at work, you do what you do, or people that work in a factory, or people that, whatever the case may be, they make fast food. If you're at the workplace and if there's a person who's just always doing, it's always off pace with everything that everyone else is doing, and if there's always somebody that is just kind of always doing the dumb thing, if there's always somebody that, you think back to maybe even practice in sports when you're a kid, the kid just didn't give you 100%, so that everybody else had to do 10 extra. That's just the kind of guy Deontay is at the end of the day. What really takes me back was there's many things that I could ultimately use as an example. However, when he walked past that live fumble during a game, that was the straw for me. At that point, I thought to myself, you know what? This guy, no matter how many times people tell me that his drop percentage rating is down or how many yards or how many touchdowns, he just has that X factor to him that he's always going to be doing something that you wish that he wasn't doing as a teammate. And I think that that affects people, and it affects people around him. And again, we could really, really go on with examples about the things that I believe why it was a good reason why Deontay left. But at the end of the day, if you get a guy that comes in there, Brian, no matter Tyler Boyd, whoever, and they don't run backwards at first before they run forward, I think you've already made a step in the right direction.
Well, I don't think Mike Tomlin wanted to get rid of him. And Mike Tomlin, as you pointed out on that play, the fumble that he didn't even pay attention, or he saw the fumble, didn't care about it. Mike Tomlin didn't want to discipline him for that.
Right.
Do you think this trade is like, hey, Tomlin, if you're not going to discipline these guys when they do stupid things, we're just going to get rid of them?
I sure hope so. I mean, and the thing is, it's not just Deontay. Over the years, there were things that you've seen in a football game, and you thought, oh, come on, coach, you got to talk to him. You got to say something. This, in my opinion, it falls in that category, Brian. All
right, so you had mentioned Tyler Boyd.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the Clairton guy, Clairton down by where I live.
Yes.
The Pitt Panther, the Cincinnati Bungle.
Yes.
he used to talk trash after some rivalry games. We were talking about Patrick Queen coming from a rival, and you had mentioned Tyler Boyd. I don't think Tyler Boyd is a number 2 receiver, though.
I don't either.
So if you bring him in, I think he's going to be a slot guy,
yes.
Which is totally fine.
Because we need that guy as well.
Right, absolutely.
Because Robinson's gone.
So, yes, we need a safety. We need a cornerback. We need 2 wide receivers. And we talked about earlier shows, we need a center. We need a tackle. There's a lot of things we still need. And the guy I think that the Steelers should bring in to be opposite Pickens, because now he's going to get double teamed, right?
In theory.
Keenan Allen.
Yes. I would be totally fine.
10-plus catch guy. What he costs is a little bit more than Johnson, but his production is going to be way better than Deontay Johnson. If we can bring in Keenan Allen, I think that maybe a Tyler Boyd too. You bring in those 2 guys, and Russell Wilson's going to have his Pickens.
Yeah, absolutely.
No pun intended.
That was a good one. I like that. But I would be thrilled to bring in Keenan Allen and Tyler Boyd. As you said, at this point in Tyler Boyd's career, I think you're going to get him as that 3. You're going to use him as that slot.
I mean, he catches like 12 balls a game.
Right. He does have mad potential. And he's another one that maybe coming home, even after talking all the junk, even after all the rival games, even after all that you had mentioned, I think he could come home and still have that newborn feeling that I'm coming home, coming out the tunnel, and guess what? There's 30,000 terrible towels waving for me. I think that's almost like magic sometimes to guys.
Well, I thought he was used to that down in Cincinnati.
Yeah, right.
30,000. That's about what we travel there.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so we got rid of disgruntled Deontay, and we traded him to the Carolina Panthers for Dante Jackson. Then the Carolina Panthers got from the Buffalo Bills Dane Jackson. So it's kind of like that Lincoln and Kennedy conspiracy where Lincoln's secretary was Kennedy and Kennedy's secretary was Lincoln. And so you got Deontay Johnson going to Carolina for Dante Jackson, and they got rid of Dante Jackson and brought in Dane Jackson from Buffalo.
Yeah, I thought that too. It was really caught me amusing was you have Deontay Johnson, and Dante Jackson. They both have dreads. And as I made a tongue-in-cheek statement earlier on my show, you know what? I always say a defensive back is a receiver who can't catch, which Deontay Johnson has proved to have butterfingers at times. And guess what, Deontay? If you're on the defensive side of the ball, you could run backwards quite a bit if you're playing that position. Am I correct?
He would just run backwards 5 yards and then go immediately out of bounds.
Yes, we do have a call, Brian, on the phone. It is Dawn. Dawn, you're on.
Welcome to the show, Dawn.
My question is, who's going to catch the ball for the Steelers now?
That is a good question, bro.
Yes, we just brought up 2 names and we're hoping that they bring them in. Keenan Allen from the Chargers and Tyler Boyd from the Bengals because, right now we have one receiver and 1 tight end in Spieth, and that's all we have.
How old is Tyler Boyd? 30?
I believe he's 29, so he'll probably be 30 during the season, yes.
And how old is Keenan Allen?
I am not sure of the age. Ryan's going to be checking on that. Do you have any guys that you think that they should bring in, or do you think in the draft, first, second, third round, drafting somebody?
Well, I think that they should trade up and go get one of the top 5 or 6 receivers available. I don't think we should be playing around with 30-year-olds.
So,
and I agree with him.
I don't think that's a bad move at all. It depends on what you have to give up to trade up, I guess.
Yeah. Do you see them, though, trying to draft a center in the first round?
Here's the thing. Centers go late, so I don't think you would need to trade up to get the best center. At what are we at, 20, Ryan?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
So I think we can get the top center from Oregon. If not, we might be able to even trade back and get some more second or third round picks to maybe get a wide receiver there and then get the kid from West Virginia at center.
Keenan Allen, guys, is 31.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, so Keenan Allen's 31, Tyler Boyd's 29. So, yes, they are older, but,
Yeah, that's too old.
It definitely is.
This team needs to build for the future. And the last question is, and I appreciate you taking time with me.
We appreciate
Do
you
we
calling
have
in.
a center on the roster?
I think we have some guards that can move over and play center. So even if we do draft somebody and they're not ready, maybe the first 5 or 6 games, I think we can go in and have a guard move to center, and they'll be sufficient.
Who would that be?
I do know.
One of the 2 current starting guards.
No, I believe Nate Herb would be the one that would move over.
Right.
Oh, he's terrible.
Yes.
Did you think he had any kind of a year last year?
You know what? To be honest, I don't even think I seen him last year.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
played a little bit when people got injured and then came back in later. He shows me nothing. And when you watch him in an interview, his body language indicates clear lack of confidence in his own abilities.
I couldn't agree.
Yeah,
more.
well-
He does not seem like a confident player. Thank you for your time.
thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Dawn. Yeah, no, those are very good questions. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
that was a
your
great call.
We love Dawn.
Don, you did excellent.
So I didn't catch. I was going to ask him if he was not a fan, or was he okay with Deontay Johnson being traded off, and if he was or was not what he had thought could or should be done moving forward. But you know what? He hit the nail on the head with Keenan Allen and with Tyler Boyd. It's 29 and 31
Well, that's
years
typically
old.
what you get in free agency is you get guys maybe
Right.
on the end of their prime. That's why I was so surprised about Patrick Queen, because we're getting him on the beginning of his prime, which
Right.
was just fantastic. So, 29, 31 years old, that's another thing. You're getting another couple years out of them. But it looks to me like the Steelers aren't playing for the future. They're going for this year, and this year they're going for it.
And I'm glad they are. You want to know why? Because how often do you hear let's play for the future? You got to think of the future. You know what? We've been playing and thinking of the future for how long? And we haven't won a playoff game in 6, 7, 8
Playoffs?
seasons. Exactly. At this point, put together a team. Let's try to win. And you know what? We'll go from there. Guys, we know that we're in this weird limbo with the quarterback situation. We know we have an older gentleman in that spot who's probably going to be starting. We know that we have a younger guy who's just not ready. You know what? Let's put together what we can put together, try to win, and we'll learn along the way because, again, we've been playing for the future for how long now? And quite frankly, it really hasn't even been mattering.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, the caller was right. We definitely need 2 wide receivers. Okay?
Yes, absolutely.
We definitely need a center. And in my opinion, we need Dan Moore Jr. out of that left tackle position. Now, I don't know if he could play right tackle better, and move
Broderick.
Jones.
Yep.
Yeah. Move Jones over to left tackle. But regardless, there's 4 positions on the offense out of 11 that we either don't even have anybody, or what we have is just garbage.
What I do got to say about this is I don't think that Omar Khan and company let Deontay Johnson go to Carolina without somewhat of a game plan. They know they need a center. They know they need a tackle. They know they need that there's spots on the defensive side of the ball that we need to address. I don't think that they let him go with that in mind, saying, "Well, you know what? Let's see what works." I think there's something they have their eye on, and I think one day we're going to wake up probably here in the trade in free agency, and either find that they got somebody or. Somebody mentioned to me earlier, they love one of these receivers. I can't think of the guy's name, but maybe they may trade up in the first round, get that receiver, and then get their center in the second round because Frazier probably will still be around at that point. So,
well, here's my thought. Like you said, the con artist, the con man, knew we needed a quarterback.
Right.
Got one. Knew we needed a cornerback. Got one.
Yeah.
Knew we needed a linebacker, middle linebacker. Got one.
Knew we needed a punter.
Knew we needed a punter.
Right.
Got one. So there was lots of needs. Okay,
Yeah.
he's taken care of 4 of them. We still have, I don't know, 6 or 7
there's
more.
6 needs right now. I did count them. There is the 2 offensive line positions, the 2 wide receiver positions, a safety. We have to handle the we have to figure the safety thing out, and then defensive line, of course. There's no way we're running with Okunjobi and Cam Hayward all season long. Cam's older and Okunjobi,
Plus, he just falls on the pile.
and he falls on the pile. So I do believe that at some point you're going to need a little bit more help on the defensive line. But yeah, there's about 6 spots that we're still needing. But Brian, you know what? At the end of the day, look at what Omar and them has done within the first 2 days of free agency.
But before we go to break, and I want you to answer this on the other side of the break, Ryan. Was it you that called the IRS on Cam Hayward? We're going to get into that on the other side of the break. You guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
Friendly Federal Credit Union is truly a place where all members are loved, including those with 4 legs. Register your pet now for a bark bag for our canine friends or a purr pack for the feline members. It's Friendly's Furry Friends. Enter your pet today, no purchase necessary. 1 lucky dog and cat will be selected on Friday, March 15th. Make tracks, or should I say paw prints, to Friendly Federal Credit Union and sign up your pet in Friendly's Furry Friends.
I'm Daniel Frank, and I'm a Beaver Bobcat. That's because we are training for a long and a very profitable postseason once high school is over at the Beaver County and Technology Center.
If you're an employer, what do you look for in a prospective new hire? A proven track record is usually the #1 trait. For 46 years now, the Beaver County Career and Technology Center has been creating the workforce that has shaped Western Pennsylvania industry and service sector enterprises. It's the program with proven experience that employers know they can count on when they need to fill their workforce. Enroll your child or grandchild at the known quantity among educators and business leaders alike for 4 decades. The Beaver County Career and Technology Center. Signing up through your local public school is easy and can give your student the ability, in many cases, to make more money in certain fields than college graduates. Free career training at Beaver County Career and Technology Center is the perfect choice. Visit bcctc.org.
As your life evolves, so should your furniture. The new Flex modular seating furniture by FlexSteel at AK Nahas changes with your lifestyle. Durable, stain-resistant, sustainable, easily customized. Discover Flex. This President's Day, take an extra 15% off our low price on your FlexSteel purchase and save an additional 10% off your FlexSteel furniture purchase, along with free local delivery and 12 months special financing. Only at AK Nahas. You'll do okay with AK.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. He's ready to take your calls at 724-774-1888 or 724-843-1888. Also, make sure you check us out at Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing, replacement windows, doors, entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior modeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008, or stop down at the Home and Garden Show and check them out at booth 2525. Ryan, I did have a question for you, but before we get into more Steelers talk, I do have a little update. Sunday, over the weekend, I was at the Dart Player Pittsburgh first event. I got to do the play-by-play announcing.
Oh, nice.
I just noticed on Facebook, which you can check out their Facebook page, Dart Player Pittsburgh, there's over 5,000 views of the darts tournament that I announced. So
that's really awesome.
I can't believe that many people love darts. So they do have their next event. It is April 21st. Up at Faces Lounge in Newton Falls, Ohio, so towards Cleveland. We had 32 of the best players in about a 4-hour radius to the event, and congratulations to Sidney Vaughn finishing second place and Mike Porterfield finishing first. So that was fun to announce. I love doing the play-by-play.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you had a good time. Do you participate as well, or was this just something that you were?
So what had happened was I was pretty good at darts. And I participated in these events, and I would finish in the top, 12 players for the season or so. And I was having tennis elbow type of issues with and my game was really bad. And so I decided to I still play, but not as competitively as I was.
Is there generally dart injuries, Brian, or is this some kind of just a you thing?
Well, that's what my buddy said. I went to this little, they call it a lock, like you go and you just get whoever you get for the night. And it's a little fun little thing, where he throws in a couple bucks and whatever. And he's like, why? And I had to wear a sleeve, like one of those compression sleeves. And he's like, why on God's earth do you need to wear a compression sleeve to throw a dart? And I'm like, dude, you're doing that same repetition.
Right.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of time in a row, and there are some major shoulder, elbow, all kinds of injuries. There's even this thing called dartitis, where your brain won't let you throw the dart and release it. It's a very, very strange little thing. So, anyway, we're going to get back into the Steelers. Before the break, I was talking about Russell Wilson coming to the Steelers, as well as Patrick Queen from the Ravens, and Deontay Johnson moving out and getting Dante Jackson here, the cornerback. I had suggested we need some receivers, and one that came to mind was Keenan Allen. He's due a $5 million signing bonus next week, and I think he'd cost about the same as Deontay Johnson, and I think the production will be much better. On the phone, we do have Ralph Williams from Sports Quarter. You can catch him every Tuesday here on Beaver County Radio 99.3 from 4 to 6. Ralph, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Brian. Apologize for being late.
Oh, no worries, no worries. There's a lot to talk about, huh?
Yes, there is plenty to talk about. We got NFL free agency. I think this probably is the biggest year of free agency I've seen in a long time. People going everywhere. It's crazy.
Here's my question. I don't know if you or Ryan know the answer to this, but if free agency just started at 4 p.m. today, how do we already get free agents?
Well, you're allowed a what they call a picking period, where you're allowed to pick who you want to sign, but you can't sign them until today. So let's say, for instance, Russell Wilson came to town last week. We decided we had to let the NFL know on Monday that we were going to sign him, and that's when they decided to. And then Wednesday, today's the day you sign him.
Okay, so officially, the pen met the paper today.
Yes.
The lawyers got involved. So what are your thoughts on Russell Wilson here? It's just a one-year deal. Will he even be here next year? What will he do this year? Your thoughts on the whole situation?
Well, here's what I'm hearing from others is the fact that Russell Wilson's attitude is the biggest thing here. His attitude was so bad in Denver that they paid $38 million to get rid of him. Okay? My question here is Mike Tomlin and the Steeler organization going to tolerate his crap if this is what's going to happen, if this is what's going on? I heard he was real bad in Seattle with Pete Carroll. He tried to run the team, I heard. And then I found out today also that he was trying to tell Sean Payton what to do up there in Denver, and that's where that got out of control. So is that going to happen here? Unfortunately for the Steelers, they only got him for 1 year. So if he does do that, we're only down $1 million.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, low risk, maybe a potentially big reward. What do you think Kenny Pickett's thinking right now?
Well, I found out that there has been some interviews with Kenny Pickett, and I found out that Kenny Pickett's okay with this. He said, I'm okay with competition. That's what he said.
Well, he's got to like the fact that it's only a 1 year deal, too. So even if he does get beat out this year, that doesn't mean next year he can't be the starter.
I feel like they made this huge commitment with Russell Wilson.
What do you, Ralph?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to make a huge commitment to him or not. If Pickett fails this year and Russell Wilson's the starting quarterback, they may have to. And Pickett may either become a backup or they have options with him. He has 2 more years on this contract. They have with an option. They could just let him ride out his contract and say goodbye. And technically, the Steelers are going to – this is a win-win situation for the Steelers, guys. The bottom line here with this. Now they need to get a third-string quarterback in here with some experience. That way they can go into the draft and focus on some other things and get a quarterback maybe in the late rounds or something, and run them through the system, or whatever. You know what I mean?
I'm going to play devil's advocate here real quick, Ralph. You know me on Facebook. I'm pretty controversial. So 2 years ago, everybody was laughing at the Denver Broncos for bringing in Russell Wilson, and we were thrilled out of our minds to bring Mitch Trubisky here to Pittsburgh. So this is my only reservation.
I said they were going to sign Trubisky, although I had reservations about it too, because technically when you think about it, Trubisky shouldn't have been a number 1 pick, just like Pickett. I mean, he was not that great of a quarterback. He was average in college, and, there were a few games, Pitt to be one of them, that he had good games against. So, with that, Trubisky really wasn't that great of a quarterback, but I called that the Steelers were going to take him because there was really, at the time, if correct me if I'm wrong, there really wasn't anybody else out there to really bring in. And they shouldn't have brought him in anyway. They should have just went to Mason Rudolph.
I couldn't agree more. I'd have loved to have seen how that would have worked out, but that's not the case. You know who was a number 1 draft pick and should have been is Patrick Queen. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, exactly. Here, Ravens, man, they got egg on their face. I don't know what the heck they were thinking letting this guy go, but it's good for us. That's the way I look at it.
It is great for us.
That's like the worst case scenario in the world for the Ravens. The fact that it went the way it went, and then he came here. They couldn't retain him. The fact that he had to leave, and the fact that he is now a Pittsburgh Steeler, that has to hurt. It's got to hurt.
Oh, it is. It's going to hurt. The Ravens are going to have egg on their face because of this, and they already do. Anyway, how about Cleveland, Jameson Winston? How about some of these? I mean, just all across the board. Shaquan Barkley went somewhere else. Oh my gosh, it's like nuts all over the place.
Derrick Henry landing in Baltimore is a big one, guys.
Yes.
That's tough to tackle twice a year.
One more thing we have to worry about is as a defense for the Steelers. If they don't get that defensive line together, they're gonna have big problems.
Who was the linebacker that we had a couple years ago, guys? He left, went out west. He was the one that made that.
Robert Spillane.
Spillane. He was the remember he was the one that made the big tackle on Henry. He was the one that made them big plays.
Yeah, but that wasn't he hurt the rest of the game
on Lamar. One guy we had handled them guys, and he is no longer with us. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
Well, Ralph, when you were on the show,
go
ahead.
Yeah, we let him go, guys. I mean, we shouldn't have. He was a good lunch pail kind of a linebacker. He came, he did his job every week, and but he was just slow. And the Steelers thought you know what, he's slow. We don't need him.
You're right.
You know?
Well, it's funny because you were on the show last week, and we were talking about Deontay Johnson potentially going to the Kansas City Chiefs. And from what I'm hearing is the Steelers didn't want to trade Deontay Johnson to anybody in the AFC, especially the Super Bowl champion. That's why he went to the NFC. And then you see all these other trades, it's interdivisional guys.
Yeah, exactly. I was happy that they traded him off to Carolina. Let Dave Canales put up with him down there. Okay?
He went from a great situation to
Dave
a terrible
Canales
one.
is their new coach.
And he's planning on a hold-in this year again. It just never ended with Deontay Johnson, guys. And I was explaining to Brian earlier on the show, it always seemed to be something with him. And as Ralph stated, good luck down in Carolina, man.
Absolutely. I have a connection down in Carolina. I'm trying to get on for my 8:30 podcast tonight, but I haven't heard back from them yet to talk about Deontay Johnson and what the Carolina Panthers are thinking down there. But from what I understand right now, they're happy to have him down there. But I don't know if Dave Canales is going to be too happy.
Wait till he catches a couple of them passes and runs backwards. They'll get over it pretty quick. I'm pretty sure of it.
Oh yeah.
Well,
guys, I don't know if you noticed or not, but Dave Canales was Russell Wilson's quarterbacks coach at Seattle, and then he took over as offensive coordinator at Tampa last year, and now he's the head coach.
Okay.
Well, what we got in return, Ralph, was Dante Jackson. What are your thoughts on him, and where can he play in the defense? Is he a starter or is he a nickel guy?
I think he's a nickel guy. I heard some stories. He's like like Vince McMahon used to say, a B-plus player.
He does have 14 interceptions and 303 tackles in his 5 seasons. I mean, 14 picks, 300 tackles for a corner. Not bad, guys.
All right, Ralph.
No, not at all.
Ralph, we have about a minute. Can you give us what you think they need to do in the rest of free agency before the draft?
Offensive line, defensive line. They need to get at least another inside linebacker because you don't know what Holcomb and Quan Alexander are going to do. And you don't want to go into the draft and try to – the more free agents they could sign for the needs that they have, that's less they have to worry about it in the draft.
I think that I think Landon Roberts is probably going to be the other starter opposite Queen. And let's say Cole Holcomb does get healthy for however long, he's going to be good. I think we lose Quan here in the free agency. But you got to remember, guys, Mark Robinson has been working his way up to some playing time, and that guy is a beast when he hits. So that's also another consideration, guys.
All right, Ralph, any other thoughts before we go to break?
No, just have yourself the remainder of a great, nice day out today, and great show here. And we'll see what the Steelers do today.
All right, you can check Ralph out every Tuesday from 4 to 6 on Sports Corner here at Beaver County Radio. Thanks again for joining us, Ralph.
Thanks, Ralph.
You're welcome, Brian. Ryan, thank you.
See you, man.
All right, you guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We will be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
Are you ready to start your career journey? Turn your dream into a degree at Community College of Beaver County. With over 35 degrees and pathways in business, health science, STEM, aviation, and more, CCBC can help you navigate to your destination. Which will you choose?
That's why
Enroll now
would
for
like to do
spring
2
classes
hours during
and start your journey. Learn more
But
at CCBC.
only one in this, what am I
You're
talking about in
for
July?
real life.
You know?
Lincoln Park Performing Arts Center continues the Clearview Federal Credit Union subscription series with The World Goes Round, featuring classic songs from the golden age of musical theater, such as All That Jazz and New York, New York, March 14th through the 17th. Get tickets now at LincolnParkArts.org.
Yeah, I got a little news here.
Tune in to Beaver County Radio every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. for the Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smoke and Jim Frazier. The Sports Corner talks about everything that is currently going on in the sports world. Ralph and Smoke and Jim will also have special guests every week, and they'll take your calls. The show will also be streamed live on the Beaver County Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. So make plans every Tuesday at 4 p.m. to tune in to the Sports Corner right here on Beaver County Radio.
Honey, I found the perfect place for my parents and us.
Where?
St. Barnabas. For us, the Woodlands Carriage Home Community. And for my parents, condominium-style living at the Village. My folks will love the Village. There's an indoor mall with shops, restaurants, and more. And we can relax, knowing they're safe and secure.
That's what I plan to do when we move to St. Barnabas. Relax.
Every time he
Call
says
724-444-5568 or visit stbarnabascommunities.com.
Beaver County Radio, your hometown radio station. You're listening live from the Fried Transportation
Today's
Studios.
word of the day
Beaver County
is
Radio
egg on
and
your
Fried
face.
Transportation. Proud to call Beaver County home.
The smell of spring
Cherry
is in
over
the
there
air.
going
That can only
crazy.
mean one thing.
Clocky.
Spring training baseball on Beaver
My
County.
friend, she
Set your radio down to
said when she was growing up,
WBVP and
she was like, she grew up in
99.3
Indiana,
FM to listen
and
to
I guess
Pirates
they would
baseball
find
all
frogs and they would
spring
take them to
as
these
Kutch
races
and the
and
Bucks prepare to
frogs would
build
race
off
and
of
I'm
last
like,
season
what did you
and
call
put the
them, like
Pirates
Leapy
back
and,
in
like,
playoff
Jumpy?
contention.
Right.
Pirates spring training baseball is presented locally by
I
the
think she
St.
called her
Barnabas
mom
Health
while we were
System,
playing darts
Freedom United
Saturday
Federal
night,
Credit
and her
Union,
mom's like, no, we didn't
Falcones
name
Moon
them.
Township Ford, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Patriot Home Care, Dr. C.
Not like
Timothy
Fred
Lip,
the
and
Frog.
Beaver County Radio.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here today at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazuna. Make sure you get your calls in quickly at 724-774-1888 or 724-843-1888. Also, make sure you check us out at Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. You should like, subscribe, and share that. Today, show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing, replacement windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is a one-stop shop for all of your exterior remodeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. Or get down to the Home and Garden Show here. They are at booth 25, number 25. You know, there's some news in the media that the Skip Bayless show, Undisputed, is going to add Paul Pierce to the show. I guess the ratings are so bad there that they're adding Paul Pierce to see if they can get the ratings back up. Also, in other news, we have Pitt men's basketball. They will be playing. What do we have? A caller, Ryan? Okay, caller, go ahead.
I just got an alert on my phone that Bob Pompiani reports that Mason Rudolph has signed a deal with the Tennessee Titans.
Ooh, interesting.
Well, good for him.
Brian, what do you think of that?
I've always liked the guy. I mean, I think he got a bad deal getting accused of, the racial slur and having to have his face mask cut out. Now, you just got this alert, and did they say anything about the details of the deal?
I think it was in 1 year. I didn't read the whole thing, but I did. It was Bob Pompiani on Facebook. So I mean, obviously he knows what he's talking about.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think Bob's gonna jump the gun on anything.
You know what? As Brian said, I think that is good for Mr. Rudolph. And also, at the end of the day, as Steeler fans, we don't have to go through anymore. Why don't you play Rudolph? Why don't at least now he might go somewhere and play football and have a career for himself.
All right, caller. Any thoughts on any of the other moves the Steelers did?
Well, Russell, that is to be determined, because a lot of his play is he's not throwing bombs downfield and stuff, and of course now we don't have Deontay there, so that's going to be a heck of a thing. And then remember, I like the Queen. The Queen is in Pittsburgh, and that's fantastic. I think that's the best move they've made.
Oh, absolutely, Terry. Anything else before we let you go?
Well, I'm going to opening day on April 5th. Let's go Bucks.
All right, they're hitting home runs, so hopefully that continues during the regular season.
Well, let's not get too excited. Remember last preseason for the Steelers, they looked like Super Bowl champions. And then when they got to the regular season, that changed a little bit.
Brian was just nailing me with that yesterday.
All right, Terry, take care.
See you guys.
Thanks,
Bye
Terry.
now.
Yeah, that's two great callers today. And then Ralph, obviously,
yes,
that was just two excellent callers, and Ralph. So.
And as Terry was talking, it was running across the bottom of my screen. It just came up that about Mason Rudolph. So what do you think about that?
I think that the Mason Rudolph experience here was bad for him. I think it'll continue to only get better going down to Tennessee, so we'll see what happens down there. So moving on here, the ACC tournament is happening right now. Wake Forest just defeated Notre Dame 72-59. So tomorrow at 2:30, they will take on the number 4 ranked Pitt Panthers. So here's how the ACC tournament's looking right now. We've got North Carolina State taking on Syracuse at 7 p.m. Boston College taking on Clemson at 9:30. The winner of the first game will play Duke tomorrow, and the winner of the second game will play Virginia. FSU won earlier today, so they will take on UNC. So UNC and as the number 1 seed, FSU is the number 9. The winner of that will take on the number 4 Pitt Panthers versus the number 5 Wake Forest, whatever their names are.
Brian, a couple things. Demon Deacons is their name. 2, I think that this is going to be a really good game because the series between the two was good this year. I believe it was a split, and we did just give a caller. A caller came in also to tell us about Mason Rudolph, but also to mention that Jordan Whitehead did in fact sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So he is
so much going on.
There is. This is Christmas. If you're a football fan, if you're an NFL guy, this is for you.
Christmas in July or whatever, right?
Yes. Christmas in July, but in March, right?
Yes, we're all over the board.
Yes.
Yeah, so Pitt played at home and beat on January 31st. They beat Wake Forest 77-72. And then on February 20th, they did go down to Wake Forest and lose 58-191, where Pitt shot 29% from the field and Wake Forest shot 61% from the field. I did listen to the Jeff Capel show.
Yes.
That after that game, and he goes, we didn't even watch the film. There's no need. We know we did everything wrong, and they did everything right. No need to watch that film. So hopefully they've erased that from their mind, and they're ready at 2:30 tomorrow to take on Wake Forest at a neutral site.
You know what? The 1, 2, 3, and 4 all play tomorrow. It's going to get interesting. The sets of teams that have been fighting each other the past 2 days, that's through. It's time to get to this round. I'm excited. If Pitt could beat Wake Forest, then you're one step closer. I think they're one win away from snatching the spot in the big tournament. We'll see on Selection Sunday, of course. But I think this game is huge for Pitt, Brian. I think they might get in even if they don't win. But I think that
I think if it's competitive, they get in.
I agree.
Like, let's say it comes down to the last shot and they lose. I still think they're in. If they get blown out again, I think they're out.
Yeah. Yes. If they get blown out, I think it might be over.
In other local college news, West Virginia University lost to Cincinnati in their first round game, and they fired their head coach. So they are looking for a new head coach down there at WVU.
Okay, man. You're paying a lot more attention, and it's kind of throwing me off because I generally don't cover or talk about West Virginia, so I get all this new information when I talk to you.
Well, I think mostly we'll talk, and especially during football season, we're going to talk about Pitt Panthers, we're going to talk about the Penn State Nittany Lions, and we will talk about the West Virginia University, whatever they are.
The Mountaineers. But I do believe we do, yes. We have them on the schedule again this year, which is pretty cool. It's been a couple years in a row now, three years with West Virginia, so I'm looking forward to that backyard brawl.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be giving updates about my kids' experience down there next year as a freshman. So,
yes.
So even if you're not a West Virginia fan, I apologize, but like I said,
I have listen to the family stories.
I have the financial commitment, so there's that. The Pirates lost today 3-10 to the Blue Jays. Doesn't really matter. Who is this Celestiano guy that we got? He batted .238 from Minnesota. He has gotten the most at bats for the Pirates, and he's an outfielder. In 2022, he batted .232 with 2 home runs. So no power, no stick, but he has our most at bats in spring training. So I don't know what's going on with there. I did note that Triolo is batting .333 on base, .419. Hayes .360 with the .385 on base. Henry Davis, Mr. Minor Leaguer, can't make it in the big leagues, is batting .292, .333 with 4 jacks.
Yeah.
He would be on pace to hit 80 home runs at this pace. How can we send him down to the minors?
And it's not even that he's just the best performing Pirate. As of 2 days ago, I didn't see statistics and numbers from what happened today, but as of 2 days ago, he had hit 4 home runs in 5 days. He was leading. He was leading all majors in spring training with home runs. At this point, it's comical. Even the idea, the fact that he may start in the minors and not. He's the best Pirate at this point. How do you send him down?
So he has 4 home runs. O'Neill Cruz, who's batting .300 with a .440 on base percentage, also has 4 jacks.
Yes.
Ke'Bryan Hayes has 3 jacks. Let me ask you a question. Is the juice loose down in Bradenton?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't know what's going on. These guys are hitting the cover up the ball.
Did the Pirates finally get the memo that you're allowed to use the juice?
Right.
I mean, other than what, Brian Giles?
You're right. And even Jack Sawinski, he knocked one out the other day. So, you know what? These guys are really hitting. I just want to see it carry over until April, May, June, and beyond.
All right. Well, if you're late to the show, we're going to get back to the subject at hand. Russell Wilson signs a 1-year deal with the Pirates. Today on Twitter, he had a video to the Black and Yellow Wiz Khalifa song of him opening up a box of his black number 3 Wilson jerseys. We also signed Patrick Queen, the 24-year-old inside linebacker from, the Baltimore Ravens.
I love it. Love it.
Absolutely love it. This is the best free agent signing I've seen in a long time from the Steelers. And we got Russell Wilson. I mean, a Hall of Famer.
At the end
and
of
somehow
the day,
this trumps that, I feel.
These are both good moves. I think that most people here, most Steeler fans in the Pittsburgh area are thrilled with these moves. I mean, you're going to have your people here, you're going to have your people there. But at the end of the day, I think people are excited. They're looking forward to, continuing free agency. They're looking forward to the draft. Brian, I think that you're going to see, hopefully, you see an approved Steelers team this year and these guys make an impact.
We had a disgruntled Deontay Johnson last year, not picking up fumbles, walking around, running backwards, running out of bounds. We got rid of him.
Yeah.
In turn, we got Dante Jackson, the cornerback from the Carolina Panthers.
14 interceptions. I mean, come on.
Yeah, so I think he's going to be great in the nickel. Also, we just had the news that Mason Rudolph has signed with the Tennessee Titans, so good luck to you, Mason. I enjoyed your time here. I wish you would have got a better shot. Thank you for at least getting us to the playoffs last year.
Good guy. You know what I mean? He stuck it out through and through, Brian. Everything that he's went through, you mentioned some of the things earlier, and then even the internal things here in the team where he didn't get the chances maybe where he was supposed to. He stuck it out. He was a team player. I wish him nothing but all the luck.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, Ryan. Since we've been on this show, we started, January 3rd with the new show. I think this has been our best show.
Today went well. You know what? People love their Steelers, baby. And when there's Steelers news popping off like this, There's ample things to talk about. People love it. We love it. It's a win-win.
Well, if you can remember last week's show, I had to drive through a flood to get here.
Yeah.
The microphone broke. My shoe was untied. I got attacked by a cord. And today's show was the complete opposite. Everything went great. We had all kinds of stuff to talk about. We appreciate everyone listening and tuning in. Make sure you call in. Make sure you tell your friends about us. There's nothing better to do between 5 and 6 every Wednesday.
That's right. And hey, a lot of time people are in their car. What else you going to do? You know?
You're taking that drive, going from work to home or wherever to the grocery store. Make sure you tune in to WBVP 99.3 and 12:30 a.m. All right. Well, we're going to call it a week.
All right.
And we'll see you guys back here in another week. You guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 12:30 a.m. We will see you back in 167 hours.
You've been listening to One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale on Beaver County Radio. Don't forget, you can watch the show on WBVP-WMBA Facebook page anytime. Tune in next Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale on Beaver County Radio. You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.